the next thing that I'm really going to be doing is going through my staff, my backroom staff who are supporting me and making sure we've got the right people in place. So you get a view on how good our training is compared to the average within this league. Because I've set up Hope Pal to have exceptional coaching stats, you can see that we are the leader in defensive training, fitness, technical, and whatever this one is, and this one. But in terms of our scouting, we only have 1 out of 2 potential scouts. We don't have a director of football, and the ability of our scout is not as good as the highest in the National League. So we've definitely got a weak scouting capability at the moment. It's something we're going to need to reinforce. And on our medical team, we have space for a head physio and a physio, but nobody employed in those roles at the moment. So it's something we might need to fix. Manager, of course, is me, and I have an assistant manager and a head of youth development. We have 2 coaches on the payroll. We have space for a head performance analyst. So we've got some vacancies which we can recruit for. Chief scout and scout, director of football, physio, head performance analyst. And we also need to review all of our members of the team in terms of how good they are at their role. So again, here we get another slice of data, and we can go through this. Everybody has a primary role, but there's also a possibility of having a secondary job as well, and we can review people's attributes. So if we want to have a look through our coaching attributes, for example, there we can see ourselves with greens across the board. The rest of our coaching staff, particularly here, perhaps leave a lot to be desired. The goalkeeping coach particularly has a 4-1-4 in the goalkeeping stats, so that's not necessarily grand in terms of what they're capable of doing. So we're going to be wanting to look for staff, and the first place we look is in the staff search function. I've customized this screen so I can get a quick view on coach personalities, which is relevant for it rubbing off on staff that they are training, particularly if they're young players. Pick up personality traits from their coaches and also their mentor. So it's important to make sure you understand who it is you're hiring, so you don't end up necessarily teaching all of your players to be fickle, unambitious, or otherwise wayward. So just having a look at the search filter I've put in here, I've just put in some selection criteria. So I'm looking for people who aren't employed, who don't require a work permit, and can speak English at least to a good level. And you can then change what role you're looking to recruit. So if, for example, we'll go for a goalkeeping coach, we can see here that we have a variety of people that we could choose. Our key criteria for selecting these are going to be the goalkeeping stats. So if we have a look at coaching attributes, and we can maximize goalkeeper handling, we can see we don't have a great selection here, but the goalkeeping stats are not the only stats that are in play for how good a coach they are. There's the mental attributes as well. We have 3 key criteria which affects training. That is determination, motivation, and discipline. So if we have a look at the total value of those 3 attributes, that gets modified alongside the goalkeeping attributes to generate the star rating, i.e. what what determines whether they're an effective coach in that area. So you could set up a display in here which takes these 3 stats, displays the 3 goalkeeping stats, and you can save that as a specific goalkeeping coach view. And then dynamically, as your reputation changes and staff come and go within the database, you can keep going back to that view, and you get, all of the stats that you need to have a look at. So you might want, for example, to insert a column in here which says, okay, can you show me from a contractual point of view what your required wage is? These being unemployed, we won't know that, but it could be at some point you want to be looking for people at other clubs in order to get the quality candidates, and you're going to have to pay compensation to buy these people out of their contracts. So that might be a good stat to look at. As we mentioned, these 3 are fine. The adaptability is not important for coaches, so we can remove some of these while we're considering this particular role. There's probably a more efficient way of doing this, but and we are going to insert attributes coaching goalkeeper, insert column attributes coaching handling, attributes coaching shot stopping. We'll delete this column, and then we auto size all columns. We can see now the full extent of the horror of 6th tier football and the kind of coaches that we can attract. So it might be worth including in here Brackley staff, and these are already filtered on realistic appointments for the first team. So if I uncheck that, for example, we can see there are quite a large number of goalkeeping coaches around, but we won't be able to hire these higher up ones because they're just not interested in working with tier 6 football clubs. So we're looking for realistic appointments in the first team. This is really our candidate pool. We can, if we're not successful in finding the right candidate in this lot, we can decide to place an advert in the job centre, and over a period of a week or 2, or however long you set it, you will receive approaches from individuals who are interested in taking the role, and that might be where you have to be in terms of finding the right members of staff. So let's just have a quick look through here. So this is a total of 30, but their goalkeeping training capability is the worst it can possibly be. 3 ones, that's astonishing. Here we've got, what's that, 26, 32 in total, and 3s across the board. But if you remember, our member of Brackley staff is, what, 414, so 9. So they're probably equal here. So he might be a potential. We've got 22, 26, so not as strong here, but a little bit stronger here, 10. So you can see you would go down and you would make your selection. I think this chap's looking probably the strongest. Goalkeeping coach is the role that he wants the most. This is a decent spread. He's also a key negotiator, and this is interesting. His personality is model professional, which is certainly a very valuable one. There are whole lists of personalities you can look for. Model citizen is probably the preferred one. It gives you an idea that they're hidden attributes, those things about them that you can't see in terms of consistency and attitude to kicking up a fuss when things aren't going their way. They're not listed in these numerical scores. This title gives you an insight into whether they're strong or weak in particular areas and where they might have failings. A model professional is a member of staff that behaves incredibly well, as you would expect from the professional, and has high levels of adult attitudes when it comes to their role. And you would hope that by spending a lot of time with the goalkeepers, training the goalkeepers, that the goalkeepers that we have at the club will hopefully pick up some of that personality traits, and he can help them develop in those areas. So I think in terms of our goalkeeping coach, these stats are disappointing, which means we probably won't be looking for a long contract. These ones are kind of not too bad, but the ability to motivate could be higher. But if you're looking at sort of an average of 30 for those three, it's at least above average in this regard. And the personality is excellent for what we're looking for. Other people want to hire them, obviously. Dartford, Hemel Hempstead and Eastbourne, so we don't know where they might end up, but I think we'll want to approach to sign as quickly as we can. So this is the negotiation screen. Initially, the candidate will come to you with the kind of contract that they're looking for. This is completely negotiable. So this is the contract they're looking for. It was part-time, which is good. We're a part-time club. They're looking for the role of goalkeeping coach, which I am perfectly happy with. We're not considering them for other job roles, but I could, of course, suggest that their stats are appropriate for other things. I haven't thought about it for this particular coach. He was strong in negotiation, and having a model professional personality is very valuable, and it's quite rare. So I might have to have a think about that, whether that's going to be worthwhile, but not immediately. A wage of 180 is not too bad, so I will show you the wages that we're paying the playing staff at the moment, and it will go between about nothing. Some of our players get no money, up to about 600 a week. So this person is about a third of our most expensive player, and probably, a 3/4 of a player, if you like, from that point of view. And we have a contract length here, which defaults to 12 months. I might bump that up to 2 years, and as long as we're not increasing their salary or anything, I think that's probably going to be acceptable. So we'll suggest those terms. This box goes green. If he was unhappy with any of that, it would go red, and we would have to tweak what we're offering in order to do that. These terms are acceptable, so we finalised the deal. He was pleased it was sorted out quickly, but now, of course, the other teams who are interested in him may well place offers, and this AI gets to choose which job role they want to have. Now, what we'll find is that our chairman will block that appointment because we already have a goalkeeping coach, but it will give you the opportunity to swap them. So our current goalkeeping coach, who I don't believe is very good, if we go to our staff in the coaching team, this chap Dan Farrell, you can see that he's got 24 here rather than 32, and a total of 9, which is the same in here. He has a balanced personality, which doesn't really tell you a lot. About half of the characters you will find have balanced personalities. What this means is that there's nothing really obvious to say about them. The hidden attributes are kind of equally weak or equally strong. There's nothing stand out about them. So probably it means low scores in most of the attributes that are hidden away, but nothing particularly bad, nothing particularly good. So I think we can probably replace this person with a degree of confidence. does have some knowledge of the Republic of Ireland, and we might want to just make use of that when we go looking for playing staff after we've sorted our sort of initial moves in the staff area. Now, you won't necessarily want to hire everybody that you have a vacancy for all in one go, because all of their wages come out of your wage ceiling that's available for the club. So instead of that, what we're going to do is to just pick out one or two roles that we need to fulfill, swap one or two members of the staff that are really not performing the way we need them to, and leave the vacancies vacant until we need to fill them. We will get one member of medical staff, I think, and if we're looking for a head physio, let's just go and do a staff search for that. So we'll edit our search. We'll go, let's look for medical team physio, and if we have a look at our medical team attributes, what we're looking for particularly is physiotherapy. What we might want to do, but what we might not be able to do right now, is to look for somebody with some SPS skill as well, and hire them not just as a physio, but with a secondary role, doing sports science as well, if that's feasible. So let's have a look. We've got somebody who's quite disciplined and adaptable here. Let's have a look at Matt Boyce. You'll see that in highlighting this particular role, it highlights the one skill of physiotherapy. If we highlight sports science, there's only one skill you require for that. If you highlight any of these roles, it just highlights the stats that are peculiar to that that role. You might want to make use of secondary skills, so it's worth considering what a person is good at doing. In this case, this person's very adaptable, which might suggest they'd make a good scout. They've got a high level of discipline, which will give you a total of, what's this, 2632 again, which is above average in DDM, determination, discipline and motivation, and that means that they'd probably be good as a scout, as a coach, but none of their coaching skills are in any way amazing. So probably best to offer them a role as a physio, see whether they're offering a... Before we offer them, let's have a look what else we've who else we've got here. So where's my... Should have set this up earlier, shouldn't I, really? Motivating, determination. So that's DDM at the front there, physiotherapy and sports science, that's probably okay. And then we'll auto size all columns. Right, so we're really interested in anybody with above 10 in terms of physio, and with a decent spread here. So this person's not very good from a secondary stat point of view. Is that 21? That's 29. That's not too bad. I think this guy that we had a look at here, it looks like the best bet is Matt Boyce. So let's go and approach to sign. Again, part-time, just wants physio, 180 a week. I wonder if we can just delay the... No, can't at the moment. That's fine, they want 12 months, so let's just put 2 years in there. And I just wonder whether they will do coaching under 18s. Could do. I've not really tried it before so aggressively, but it might mean that we can get away without hiring coaching staff for the under-18s if members of the senior management team, particularly ones that aren't going to be loaded heavily, like the physio, will only really be engaged when there are injuries in the team, and you would hope that you can avoid those for the most part. But I wanted to hire this person as a chief medical officer. Suggest? No, doesn't want a secondary job, so that's fine. But we'll give them the role of head physio. There we go. So that one's dealt with. And what other roles might we need? Performance analyst is useful in getting information about opponent team formations and about how your team have performed compared to the rest, so this might be quite useful to have. And I really might need to swap out coaches, so let's have a look at the coaching team. We've got the assistant manager. I'll probably need a new assistant manager. His stats aren't brilliant. What's his personality like? Balanced. Doesn't really tell me that much, but you can see his coaching stats across here are pretty weak. His DDM is a total of 24, which isn't very good. And although they say assistant managers only really need people management and judging player abilities, I'm not sure this is good. And I think we can probably find somebody cheaper than Mark Noon here. So let's go to staff search and see if we can find a good assistant manager. Coaching team, assistant manager. So let's have a look at the DDM scores here. Where we can let's just go by default coaching attributes. So youth development is quite important, but also player management, and we might want to add in attributes, mental, judging player ability, attributes, mental, judging player potential, auto size. Did I add? I thought I added attributes, mental, judging staff ability. No, I don't need that. Okay, that's fine. Where's my judging player ability? This is judging player potential. I was expecting to see judging player ability. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, it's disappeared again. This isn't looking good. Well, we can get rid of the club column because none of these people are employed. Oh, why are you doing this? Oh well, we'll have to live with it for the moment. So, from a personality point of view, insert column, general, personality. Right, we've got some different personality types in here. Fairly loyal is not actually that great sounding, because although loyalty is their highest stat, fairly means it's probably at quite a low amplitude. Plus their training skills just don't seem to be very good here at all. Similarly with ambition, professional is fine, but fairly professional is not banging. Resolute might be good. His ability to work with youngsters, youth rating is only 3 there. So we might want to be looking at balanced people. We could offer roles to managers. But it might be that... Let's think about Matt Oakley for a moment, because he has a 14 in tactical coaching, which means he could at least take something off my hands with a reasonable degree of skill. His DDM is 21-28, which isn't particularly fabulous, but his ability to work with youngsters and his tactical awareness as well as his tactical knowledge might prove to be very useful. He was the MK Dons assistant manager, which is just down the road from Brackley, so one would think that that's probably a decent shout. So I'm going to approach to assign him. I'm going to assign him as the assistant manager. He wants 325, which is less than our other coach, who's on Mark Noon's on 450, so that would save us 125 per week, which is one youth player or half a first team player. Let's get rid of that promotion wage rise and exclude it. I don't want him coming back with more of that, so I'll suggest those terms. Because of the percent wage rise, he's changed his requirement. So if we go back and suggest that, no, he's got very picky now. No, I'm walking away. Okay, we'll come back. That's not important. There'll be more options later on as other managers make changes to their staff. But if it doesn't pan out this time, then so be it. I'm not going to get stuck on it. So let's have a look at our coach. Now the thing about coaches is it's better to go for somebody who's incredibly focused and just allow them to do that one type of coaching. So if you find somebody who's very good at attacking coaching and just get them to focus on that, as long as they have a decent DDM, which I would have to add in here. Let's get rid of the well, let's change the views, so let's just have a look at the coaching attributes. No, we definitely want their TDM in here. So this is why you'd want to create a view, which I haven't done for this save, and make sure the mental attributes that you're looking for are in here. Determination, motivation, and discipline I'm looking for. Level of discipline, that's why it's not next to D. Okay, so we'll be looking at the combined score in here. So this is 24, which isn't brilliant. This one's a bit more interesting because that's 27. That's 35 in there, with high levels in attack and defence. So Matt Waldron might be a good coach. For us, balanced personality, which isn't a bad thing, and probably better than our existing coach. You can of course check that by comparing them. So we have a fitness coach here, but we don't have a more general coach. So let's just have a look. So that's very good at the handling fitness. 12. What's his DDM? We've got determination of 2, motivating of 6, discipline of 15. Okay, the 2 and the 6 are concerning. That leaves him with only 23. whereas determination 8, discipline 17 and motivating 10 is a considerable improvement. Even though his fitness rating is 4, we can get a fitness coach in later. I can do, Hope Powell can do the fitness training first. This chap can do attacking and defending better, I think, as he has 5s, he has 9s. So from a coaching point of view, I think he's going to be a good call. We'll approach to sign. Part-time coach. We want to offer a bit less, perhaps 200 for 2 years. See if he'll take that. He wants to be an assistant manager. It's funny because his assistant manager credentials are probably not as good, because you'll be looking for people management, which is a 6, and judging ability, which is a 7 and a 6. And although his DDM is acceptably high, and he's a very adaptable coach, he wouldn't be a bad assistant manager. And his personality is perhaps not that bad, but balanced. Okay, so let's go back to the contract then. You want $325 per week as assistant manager for 2 years. Yeah, okay. We'll see if he comes through. If he does, we'll just replace Mark Noon with him. I don't mind. Who's this guy? Billy Mehmet. Okay, who's the best fitness coach out of this lot? See, our fitness coach guy has a 12 in fitness, but weak DDM. There's not really any good fitness coaches. Mental coaches are 10, but these are too low. Technical coach. That's 27, 29. That's a completely average 30. But low stats across here. I don't think we're going to be able to improve sort of our coaching really at the moment.
I fought with lions and but I've never fought myself before. It's so